Okay, so today I got some parts and stuff in, and I got a new piece. Let me show you what it is here. This guy right here. Um, it's supposed to be a direct fit for the Barrage. Um, Obviously, it's a Redcat part, so let's just dive right into it, see if it fits, and hopefully I didn't waste my money. So let's check it out. That is the connect box, and this is the old one. As you can see, putting it up next to it without even taking it out of the package, it looks very close, if not the same, except for the slot on the inside. Okay, so first let's examine what we currently have here. Just kind of see, just to make sure if everything is what it looks like it is. Get him out of here. And I like this Redcat part too because it comes with bearings and everything, so I have to remember that. And obviously the bearings would go over the top there and there. And these bearings, they're okay. I mean, for what I'm using it for, it should be fine. Now, just take the bearings off for a second just to kind of see. It looks like everything is the same. It looks like the sizing is good. Even the length looks like it matches. So let's give it a shot here and see what it does. All right. So let us get the axle in here. And I got to remember how this goes on here. I think it goes in like so. Now, as you can see, you could, trim that if you want. I'm not going to worry about it. Let's get one of these sides on here and see. Kind of figure out which way this goes on. So it would be like that. So let's kind of see if that does actually fit like it looks like it will. Ooh, look at that, guys. Ooh, that's pretty cool. Okay. All right, so now we're going to get the truck and actually install this into the truck. Then we can start putting it all back together and just see how it works. I put some grease on this here first. And I like to go ahead and put some 3-in-1 oil. That's what I usually do anyway. I'll put a little bit on the bearings. I'll just kind of leave them in there right now. Just a little bit on the outside to kind of help lubricate things. I'm not going to worry about the ceramic ones. They should be fine. These ones that come from Redcat, I'm not sure how well lubricated and stuff they are, so that's why I'm doing that. And as you can see, it's pretty free, so let's hope it stays that way. Now, I do have plenty of bearings in case I need to replace those later, but the idea is to put something back together to where you're not going to have to take it apart 100 times. So I'm still going to keep this here. I may even print another one of these just to make sure that I have an extra. That's pretty cool that the Redcat part fits on that. Okay, so now I think you can see me a little bit better. Let's attempt to get this in here without dropping anything. And first thing before I do that, I need to actually get some grease into this. So what I'm going to do is just take a little bit of grease, and this is just the same grease I use for pretty much everything. Kind of just put a little bit of a dollop, you can see me, on there. And get a little bit of it to stick. like so. Doesn't have to be a whole bunch, but I do want a little bit on there. So that should be enough, because there's already a little bit in there anyway. So let's get this grease out of the way. And we'll go ahead and get them lined up. Make sure that everything mates pretty well. Just seems like it's got a nice fit. Okay. And then the next step is going to be to install all these screws here. So let me get that done here, and then I'll get you back on here. Okay, when you tighten these up, you don't want to go super tight. I mean, you want to get them snug, but you don't want to get it stupid tight. So I should probably put this one down next. So I'm going to go ahead and do that off camera, because it's just a really difficult area to get to, and then we'll get right back to the axle portion. Okay, so now we have the top plate in there. We're going to go ahead and go after the servo screws themselves, which isn't really that difficult, but they're in kind of a crappy area, so sometimes it can be a little rough getting these in there. And again, you don't want to tighten it up so tight. Keep in mind that it is plastic. I usually do one on the bottom and then one on the top. Okay, so now that we have the servo screws all in place, we're going to start going after the actual axle parts themselves. So obviously they would go in like this. Pull this camera back just a little bit to where you can see a little bit better. Raise it up. So all they really do is just kind of slide in there, and then you got these screws on the top to hold them in place. But okay, so now we're going to put the axle assemblies in, or the end pieces or whatever. So you want to make sure that your horns and stuff sticking out in the front, your little steering part there, and all they do is just kind of slide over here, over the top, and then just kind of roll your axle around a little bit until you find the slot. It fits right in. I mean, that's a pretty nice fit too. And then you just take your screws, come over the top and the bottom. Should be one on each. Just get them kind of snug. That's all you're looking for. You don't have to have anything tighter than that, because it is metal screws going into plastic. They will strip out the plastic, and then you will definitely be having a bad day. Now, if you got metal, maybe you can get them a little bit tighter, but honestly, you don't really need all that. I'm kind of a minimalist when it comes to things like that. I don't like to do a whole bunch of metal on a truck, because you're not really giving it anywhere to flex and bend. Alright, so there we go. It was really easy too. All you do is slide it over there and then just kind of turn your drive shaft a little bit, and there you go. Or your axle or whatever. And normally I would be doing this a lot quicker, but you know, we're trying to film it at the same time, so a little bit slower than what I would normally take to have this buttoned up. Just because I'm trying to show everybody what we're doing at the same time. Okay, so now that we got everything together here, we're going to, I don't know, probably attach our shaft, maybe. I think so. I think that's what we're going to go after next. So I got these pieces here that I'm calling control arm pieces. And basically you have two screws here. See how one is a lot longer than the other? The shorter one is going to go on the side where it doesn't have the arm. I'm going to go ahead and kind of skip through this part here. You get the gist of it. If you have any questions, just ask me and I'll explain it. Basically all you're doing is you're putting the screws here, and then you're going to put this one screw over here on the opposite side to connect everything together. So let me get that done and we'll get back on. Okay, now we have this on. Now this is a little different than the ECX 10.2 or whatever, the bar here is straight. And there's plenty of clearance there for that, so I'm not going to worry about doing anything with that. It's been like that forever. Seems to work just fine, so I'm not going to try to reinvent the wheel. Now, you got to line up your pins there, and I already have a hex nut kind of stuck in there. So we're going to just kind of throw everything on, get it lined up, and it should pop right in place, just like it did. Now, I did put some of these nylon nuts here. I did add some thread locker to it, so hopefully it does hold together better than what it has in the past, because I have an issue with these things coming apart quite a bit. So hopefully that's the ticket. Get them locked in real good. Okay, so that's on. Now we're going to do the other side, except this side we'll do the hex and stuff separate because this one's not in the wheel. Same process, pretty easy. You just put the pin in and you line up your hex like so. Easy peasy. Line up your wheel. And then throw your nylon nut, whatever they're called, on there. Tight pretty good, make sure it's on there. Now this crawler here has a little bit of slop right there. It's that hot racing stuff where I had to put different screws on there. That's the biggest issue. Eventually I'll be working through that, but for right now we're going to kind of leave it alone. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to put a battery pack in here and just kind of make sure everything is running properly. And there we go. There's the battery charge. So let me get all this set up here and we'll check it out. Alright, so I still got to put the battery tray on the top here, the one that I've been using. I'm not going to worry about that right now. I just kind of want to make sure that everything is set to go. So we're going to plug in the battery. And this is my little Ovonic high discharge. It's just a regular light bulb. I think it's a 2S. But it's one I like using for this crawler and the ECX 10.2. Everything seems to be moving. Let's try to stop it. Okay. Alright, now these are basically locked diffs. They don't have any slippage or anything like that, which is what I like in my crawlers. As you can see, both sides, front and back, are now working properly. So, this one here seems a little loose, which is why that I'll probably end up buying another one of those Redcat ones. But there you go, guys. It's ready to rock and roll on another one here. And I'm probably going to play with this motor just a little bit longer because I do like the setup that's in here and I want to see what it's capable of. Once again, guys, I appreciate it. And anybody that watches my channel knows I have a little problem with build videos like this, but I wanted to kind of show you what was going on with this Barrage because it's a very cool truck, but it doesn't have a lot of part support. That's number one. And number two, everything that you do throw in here, it has to be very specific because it's not like your typical standard crawler. So yeah, I just kind of wanted to show you that. Some pieces fit from 18th scale all the way up. So and as you can see, we put a Redcat differential in there. Works fine. So we're going to check it out. Appreciate it, guys.